close your eyes and drift gently backward through the mists of time. The year is far beyond counting. You stand in the golden cradle of civilization in a city called The first rays of dawn cast a soft amber glow across rooftops and riverbanks. In the stillness, a grand ziggurat towers above the earth, its edges softened by the morning mist. This is the land of stories. This is the land where time began to write itself. And within this ancient place is a child. Her name is Enheduanaa, a name few know. Yet her voice, soft, strong, sacred, will be the first that history remembers. Born around 2285 BCE, Enheduanaa was the daughter of King Sargon, the great ruler of Akkad. But her world was not defined by crowns and conquest. In the quiet courtyards of the palace, surrounded by date palms and the scent of sweet herbs, she listened. Her tutors spoke in low, rhythmic tones, reciting ancient hymns, teaching the flow of language like a lullaby. She traced cuneiform symbols on clay with a careful hand. She watched the sun cross the sky. She listened to the hush between words. Outside the palace walls, other girls her age carried water, tended goats, learned to weave and grind barley. But Enheduanaa was different. She was chosen. For what? She could not yet know. In the echoing halls of her father's court, great decisions were made, battles planned, territories named, but among these grand strategies was one of peace, a desire to unite two peoples, the Akkadians and the ancient Sumerians. And so, Sargon turned not to his generals, but to his daughter. He named Enheduanaa High Priestess of the Moon God, Nana, a role of immense reverence and quiet power. With this choice, she became more than a daughter. She became a living link between earth and sky. In the heart of stood the Temple of Nana. Shadows moved like whispers through stone corridors. Oil lamps flickered, casting golden halos on the walls. Here, Enheduanaa made her home. Among scrolls, incense, sacred chants. She tended to altars, composed prayers, listened to the silence that followed sacred names. She walked barefoot on cool floors before dawn. She poured offerings with steady hands. She sat long into the night, shaping verses with devotion. As the sun lowers once again over casting long shadows on the sand, stars begin to bloom overhead. The ziggurat glows gently, holding its secrets. And Enheduanaa, still young, still learning, stands at the edge of something wondrous. Her journey has only begun. In a sun-dappled corner of a quiet schoolhouse rests behind the temple walls. The air is still, and the scent of clay and old parchment fills the space. Here, we find Enheduanaa, a child not yet 10, kneeling beside a tablet. Her stylus glides slowly, gently, carving marks that sing with ancient memory. Most girls of her world learn to grind grain, spin wool, raise children. They live by the rhythms of home and hearth. But Enheduanaa lives by a different rhythm, one shaped by words, stars, and song. Each evening, as twilight washes the sky in gentle purples and gold, she joins a circle of elder priestesses. They chant in tones low and clear, their voices floating around a bronze bowl filled with fragrant smoke. Enheduanaa listens, then echoes, and soon leads. Her voice finds shape in these moments, tender, steady, sacred. They teach her not only hymns, but the spaces between them, the silence, the breath, the reverence. From these women, she inherits a legacy of devotion that stretches like a thread through time. Some nights, under the shimmering curve of the crescent moon, she climbs the temple steps to meet her stargazing mentor. An elder astronomer, kind and patient, guides her hand across clay charts, etched with the heavens. He speaks in murmurs about Venus and eclipses, lunar tides, and the turning of seasons. Enheduanaa listens, her eyes wide with wonder. The stars do not frighten her. They call her. They speak a language she is just beginning to remember. Later, by a flickering oil lamp, she sits beside another teacher, one who teaches her not astronomy, but poetry. He opens a scroll and invites her to speak from the heart. At first, her words are halting, like footsteps in soft sand. But then, they begin to flow. Quiet lines about moonlight, longing, and the goddess who waits beyond the veil. Her tutor smiles. He sees not just talent, but vision. She is becoming more than a student. She is becoming a voice. As dusk falls over the rooftops of the city hums with quiet dreams. Lamps glow behind lattice windows. Smoke rises gently from hearths, and on a temple balcony, a young girl gazes out into the velvet sky. She is not yet the woman history will remember, but within her, the future already glows. The first light of day touches the sacred temple stones. A gentle breeze stirs the cloth draped over an altar. In the silence, Enheduanaa moves with grace, bearing a clay jar filled with cool water. She kneels, bows her head, and pours the offering in slow, reverent arcs. The loaves of bread beside her are warm from the hearth. She places them down carefully. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is wasted. This is how the city of begins its day, not with noise, but with devotion. Later in the morning, Enheduanaa retreats to the quiet of the temple's library. Oil lamps flicker gently on the stone walls. She sits cross-legged, a scroll unrolled before her. A young scribe waits, stylus poised. She begins to speak, soft, sure, melodic. Her hymns are not just poems. They are windows into the divine. Verses rise and fall like waves, prayers to Inanna, reflections on love, strength, descent and renewal. Each line echoes in the dim room, etched in clay, preserved for generations unborn. As the sun climbs higher, the temple stirs with music. A festival day has arrived. Enheduanaa walks among the people with calm dignity. Lyres ring through the open courtyards, and dancers in flowing garments spin slowly around the base of the great ziggurat. She pauses often, offering blessings, receiving tokens, speaking words of peace. The people revere her not out of fear, but out of love. She is their priestess, and something more. She is their poet. Later, beneath the shade of tall date palms, Enheduanaa takes her seat at the open-air court. The murmur of water from a nearby basin mingles with the voices of petitioners. One by one they step forward. A land dispute, a broken promise, a theft repaid. She listens. Her words, when they come, are soft but firm. Fairness, always. Wisdom, always. These decisions, too, are a form of worship, a way of preserving harmony. As night unfolds across the sky, she returns to the temple terrace. The moon glows softly above. Stars blink slowly into view. Enheduanaa stands alone. Her breath slows. Her thoughts turn inward. She speaks a prayer, not aloud, but within. Her heart speaks for her. Gratitude, guidance, stillness. She looks to the heavens, then closes her eyes, resting her palms on the ancient stone railing. The Euphrates glides quietly past the city walls, reflecting the stars like scattered silver. Enheduanna's day has ended, her duties fulfilled, her heart steady. The winds shift softly across the plains of Sumer, and in a quiet corner of exile, Enheduanna sits beside a dim oil lamp. Her hands cradle a clay tablet. Her stylus moves slowly, pressing words shaped by sorrow and strength. Her hymns in exile whisper of grief, of longing, and of unwavering devotion. This is not a tale of defeat. It is a song of resilience, written in the language of spirit. Outside, the sky turns a gentle shade of copper. The desert breathes with heat, but inside her modest shelter there is only stillness. Her mind drifts back to temple corridors and moonlit rituals. Each memory becomes a verse, each verse a lifeline. She speaks softly into the silence, letting her pain become poetry. Her words, filled with aching beauty, ask the heavens for justice, for restoration, for remembrance. Centuries pass like sand through fingers. Kingdoms rise and crumble. Rivers change course. Languages evolve, fade, and are reborn. But beneath the sands of Ur, time waits and preserves. One day, long after her name was forgotten, the earth gave it back. A quiet dig site in southern Mesopotamia. An archaeologist, Leonard Woolley, kneels in dust and dawn. He brushes the earth from a clay disc, its ridges rough but its symbols unmistakable. Enheduanna has returned. He cannot yet hear her voice, but it is there, nestled within the shapes of Cuneiform, within the grooves that held fire and faith. The clay whispers its secret, not just a high priestess, not only a royal daughter, but the world's first named author. Today, her words rest behind glass, but they still breathe. Visitors move slowly through hushed galleries, stopping to gaze at tablets preserved in careful symmetry. Light gleams faintly across their surfaces. It is the same light that once streamed through temple windows, across altar stones, across her face. Her poetry speaks still, of moons and gods, of exile and longing, of a woman's heart devoted not only to the divine, but to expression, to remembrance. Some visitors press their fingers to the glass. Others bow their heads. Many do not know her name when they enter, but few forget it once they leave. In quiet study halls, her legacy grows. Scholars lean over ancient texts, their voices low, reverent. They trace each line with careful fingers, murmuring syllables once sung in sacred space. Her verses have travelled through millennia, not carried by armies, but by language, by the patient devotion of scribes, translators, teachers. She has inspired not only historians, but poets, philosophers, seekers. Her story is studied in classrooms, pondered in prayer, and felt in the quiet hours of introspection. Her poetry has found new breath in every age. And so, Enheduanna endures, a name carved into clay and into memory. Her story of power, prayer, and perseverance reminds us that the soul can echo louder than the sword. She did not conquer lands. She did not build cities. But with a stylus and her spirit, she carved her way into eternity. Her voice still hums, gently across the ages, through lines of verse, through breath and silence, through dreams and sleep. Let the stars rise over Ur once more. Let the wind hush the old stones. Let the moon glow softly above temple ruins and riverbanks. Enheduanna's light is not lost. It only waits to be remembered again. Sleep now, with her story as your comfort. Let her words cradle you, as they did a people, a temple, a civilization.